Hey there, YouTubers! Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to the DAE, or Draw and Experiment. This is a series of mine where I present an experiment or idea that I cannot do myself, either because it's beyond my technical abilities, lack of time, or lack of funding. Today's video is an idea I had back in my freshman year of college, where you take CO2 out of the atmosphere and convert it into carbon that can be stored in the ground. I originally wanted it to be a business of some sort, so I tried to look at ways of making money. However, it became increasingly difficult. However, that's not to say it's impossible, and I will demonstrate my money-making ideas at the end. First, we need to demonstrate how to convert CO2 into carbon that can then be put into the ground. This takes me back to high school chemistry class. What a not fun time that was, because my teacher wasn't qualified. Anyways, she said that it was impossible to convert CO2 and water back into fossil fuels. And I said, why? She said, well, because it requires more energy to do so than you would get out of it. But I'm like, yeah, but then we don't have to extract oil anymore from the ground. You know, she's like, it's impossible. And I'm like, well, it's not. Fast forward to 2019, Bill Gates is like, let me do this. And he did it. He's got a whole company about doing it. Anyways, now this is a cool idea for carbon neutral, but I want to go further. How about carbon negative, where we pull more carbon out of the air than we put into it? The easiest and the cheapest way to do so is with plants. Now you're going to want a plant that grows fast, consumes a lot of carbon, is drought resistant, pest resistant, disease resistant, and can be harvested easily. The best plant that comes to mind is grass. Now, are there better plants for this job? I'd assume so, but I don't even know where to begin with that Google search. If you have a better plant in mind, please leave a comment below explaining why. So what is my plan involving grass? Well, I grew up living in the Great Plains, and so grass is my specialty, if you would say that. Grass can be cut 3 to 4 times per summer for baling hay. This is how we would go about harvesting the grass, by cutting it and baling it. Now again, are 3 to 4 cuttings efficient for this process? Maybe, maybe not. We typically do so many cuttings because if the grass is allowed to grow too long, it becomes stemmy. Cattle, the main consumers of grass, strongly prefer the leaves when you don't grind the bales. Also, you get the most grass by cutting it this often. Anyway, after harvest, the grass will be ground up and burned in an atmosphere without oxygen. This will prevent the production of CO2 and leave the carbon behind. Again, this whole idea of converting the grass into charcoal is all inspired by Cody'sLab's series of videos on Willet charcoal. How does one burn this grass without using fossil fuels, solar panels, or wind turbines? Well, geothermal energy is the key here. In my opinion, geothermal should be used everywhere. So using the natural heat of the earth, we can generate electricity and use that to burn the grass. The charcoal could then be sold to places lacking enough carbon in their soil, and therefore be perfect customers. The carbon can also be buried in the grass fields, and thus returns the carbon from the atmosphere to the soil. However, if you look at the system, you notice a glaring issue, among others. What powers the tractors to cut, bale, and transport the grass? Well, battery technology is making great strides, and there is an electric tractor on the market today. I know this because if you play Farming Simulator 19 and buy the Alpine DLC, you have access to an electric tractor. Now, it's not a very big tractor, but with the right equipment, it could do many of the jobs necessary for the operation. Yes, I'm basing this off a video game. Shut up! However, that's battery technology of today. But 10 to 20 years from now, you can have a regular-sized electric tractor doing the same work as the diesel-powered ones of the same caliber. Hopefully. Maybe. Probably. Now back to the money side of things. As I briefly stated earlier, the charcoal could be sold to people who need carbon in their soils. However, this is a small market, probably non-existent. So how do you make this idea turn a profit? Well, one idea that's probably pretty bad, is to convince people to pay a monthly fee for your service of keeping the atmosphere clean. This is honestly no different than paying taxes to a government that, among other things they do, try to regulate the amount of carbon being released into the air. Their subscription to you is similar to people who send their kids to private school. They already pay taxes that pay for the kid to go to school. But they would rather pay more money on top of the taxes they already have to pay to send them somewhere else. This is why I hate private schools. That money could be used for other things, and instead they choose to send them to a private school. Which, I mean, some private schools are better than public, but around here they're not, and I don't want to get into it. That's another video for another day, maybe. Another potential option is some countries have an allotted number of carbon credits each business in the country is allowed to have. Now, a company whose sole purpose is to remove carbon from the atmosphere might not get any credits whatsoever. However, let's say through a legal loophole that you can get carbon credits. You could then sell those said credits to the highest bidder and fund your project that way. The last option, it's the craziest option, but you could use your initial investment capital to invest in stocks and use the funds generated to pay for your project. Now, if you invest in companies like Shell and Exxon, you're going to make your carbon cleaning job a lot harder. But that's between you and your bookie to figure out. So in conclusion, is a business like this one I envision possible? Possible? Probably. Profitable? Today? No. In the future? Maybe. Although, now that the idea is out there, anyone can modify it and find different ways to make it work. That's the whole point of this series, is to get my ideas out there into the hands of people who can make a difference. Which always brings me back to my own issue. I have ideas, just none that I can make happen. I have no ideas that I can make happen, but rest assured, trust me, the day I have an idea, things will change. In the meantime, I would like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New science videos every other Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time, and new podcasts every other Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time, and good night. Subs for trees, subs for trees, subs for trees, subs for trees. Oh, you're still here? I thought I told you to go home. Oh, you want more? I'm flattered. Check out the playlist. If you want exclusive content, check out my Instagram, Dr_sheep_YouTube. That's all lowercase. If you want to help the earth, subscribe. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to plant 10 trees. If you feel that's too small, then check out my channel chart where I lay out even bigger goals. Finally, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet watch time. Bye.